Yes, the lease termination request came directly from you, sir. We processed it last week.
The notification chimed just as I was pretending to care about cloud security protocols at the Minneapolis Tech Conference. My phone lit up with Jenna's name, and for a split second, I thought she might actually miss me. "Hey, babe, just letting everyone know we're on a pause. Need some space to find myself. Don't wait up." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I stared at the screen for a full 30 seconds. A pause, like I was a Netflix show she'd get back to eventually, maybe after she finished binge-watching something more interesting. "Cool," I typed back. Because what else do you say when your wife of 3 years decides your marriage needs a commercial break? My name is Miles Thompson. I'm 30, work in cybersecurity for a mid-sized firm downtown, and apparently, I'm now on marital probation. The irony wasn't lost on me that I spent my days protecting other people's data, while my own wife was probably deleting me from her life story. The conference droned on around me. Some guy in a wrinkled suit was explaining why multi-factor authentication was the future, but all I could think about was Jenna's sudden need for independence. 3 months ago, she'd started this whole finding herself journey. Yoga instructor certification, meditation retreats, and a sudden obsession with posting inspirational quotes about choosing yourself first. I should have seen it coming when she started hashtagging everything Trau Independentera. My phone buzzed again. This time it was my buddy Jay from work, forwarding me a screenshot from Instagram. There was Jenna, glowing in some candlelit restaurant, but she wasn't alone. Some muscled guy with perfectly styled hair was sitting across from her, and they looked pretty cozy for someone who was supposedly on a solo journey of self-discovery. "Isn't this your wife?" Jay's text read. "Thought you should know." The guy looked familiar. I zoomed in on the photo until it clicked. Aiden Morrison, owner of that trendy CrossFit gym downtown. I'd met him exactly once at some charity fundraiser Jenna dragged me to. He'd spent the entire evening flexing his biceps and talking about his holistic approach to wellness. I'd spent it wondering if anyone actually bought his motivational speaker routine. Apparently, my wife did. I scrolled through more of Jenna's recent posts. Suddenly, all those solo brunches and me-time yoga sessions made perfect sense. There was Aiden in the background of half of them, carefully cropped, but not quite invisible. The conference wrapped up around 5, and I drove home to our apartment in Uptown, my mind racing. We'd signed a 2-year lease just 8 months ago. Joint bank account, shared everything. If Jenna wanted space, she was about to get more than she bargained for. I climbed the stairs to our 3rd-floor unit, key ready, but something felt off the moment I opened the door. The place looked the same, but different. Cleaner, maybe. More organized. Like someone had been editing our life together, removing the messy parts. My coffee mug collection was gone from the kitchen counter. The stack of cybersecurity magazines I kept by the couch had vanished. Even my favorite throw blanket, the one Jenna always complained made the living room look college dormish, was nowhere to be seen. I walked into our bedroom and opened the closet. My clothes were pushed to one side, compressed into about a third of the space they used to occupy. The other 2/3 looked suspiciously empty, like someone had been making room. That's when I found it. Under our bed, shoved toward the wall where I wouldn't normally look, was a black duffel bag. Nike logo, still had the tags on it. Inside were men's workout clothes, protein powder, and a bottle of cologne that definitely wasn't mine. I sat on the edge of the bed, holding a pair of size-large boxer briefs that belonged to someone who apparently felt comfortable enough in my home to leave his underwear behind. My phone rang. The landlord. "Miles, hey, got your message about ending the lease early. Just wanted to confirm, you said Jenna was okay with this?" I hadn't called the landlord. "What message?" I asked. The voicemail you left this morning said you and the wife were moving, needed to terminate the lease by the end of the month. I've already got 3 people lined up to see the place. Someone had been busy. Someone who knew I'd be out of town and decided to make some executive decisions about our living situation. Actually, let me call you back, I said. I hung up and immediately dialed our joint bank account's customer service line. After navigating through 6 layers of automated hell, I finally got a human being. Mr. Thompson, I show several large transactions on your account over the past week. Would you like me to review them? Yes, please. Let's see. There's a charge for $1,500 to Morrison Fitness Solutions, another $800 to Serenity Springs Wellness Retreat, and a cash withdrawal for $2,000 yesterday afternoon. Morrison Fitness Solutions, Aiden's gym. My wife had been funding her affair with our joint account. Sir, are you still there? Yeah, I'm here. Can you put a hold on the account? I think there might be some unauthorized activity. Certainly. I'll freeze all transactions immediately and send you the paperwork to file a dispute. After I hung up, I sat in the quiet apartment, surrounded by the evidence of my wife's careful planning. The pause text wasn't spontaneous. This was orchestrated, calculated. She'd been systematically erasing me from our shared life while funding her new one with our money. I opened my laptop and did what I do best. I started digging. Social media is a goldmine when you know how to look. Jenna's Instagram was public, which was her first mistake. I scrolled back through 3 months of posts, screenshotting everything. The timeline was fascinating once you knew what to look for. March. Taking time to focus on my inner journey. Self-care, Mars growth. April. Sometimes the universe puts people in your path to teach you about yourself. Grateful Dawn, new beginnings. May. Learning that it's okay to outgrow situations that no longer serve you. Evolution. Courage. And then, buried in the tagged photos from her yoga instructor friends, I found the smoking gun. A group chat screenshot that someone had accidentally posted to their story. The conversation was between Jenna and her friend Tammy. Girl, you're glowing lately. New skincare routine? Tammy had written. More like new everything routine. Miles is so boring. I'm finally living my best life. Aiden makes me feel alive again. About time. You've been settling for way too long. When are you going to tell him? Soon. Just need to get everything in place first. Can't make any moves until I'm financially secure. The timestamp was from 2 weeks ago. I leaned back in my desk chair, a strange calm settling over me. The hurt was there, sure, but it was overshadowed by something else. Anger, maybe, but more focused than that. More purposeful. Jenna thought she was playing chess while I was stuck playing checkers. She'd underestimated one crucial detail. I was a cybersecurity expert who'd spent the last 8 years learning how to expose people who thought they were smarter than everyone else. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hey, this is Aiden. Jenna gave me your number. Hope we can be cool about this whole situation. No hard feelings, right? We're all adults here. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, absolutely. No hard feelings at all. Because there weren't any hard feelings. Hard feelings were messy and emotional and clouded your judgment. What I had was something much more dangerous. A plan. The next morning, I woke up in my own bed for what I suspected might be the last time. Jenna still wasn't home, probably at another meditation retreat with her fitness guru boyfriend. I made coffee in my soon-to-be former kitchen and opened my laptop. If Jenna wanted to play games, I was going to change the rules. First stop, our shared iPad, which she'd apparently forgotten about in her haste to compartmentalize her life. She was still logged into everything. Instagram, Facebook, even her text messages synced automatically. It was like Christmas morning for someone in my line of work. The Yoga Babes group chat was a treasure trove. Jenna, Tammy, and 3 other women from her yoga certification program had been documenting every detail of what they called Operation Independence. I scrolled through weeks of messages, each one more damning than the last. Day 12 of the Miles Detox, Jenna had written. Aiden took me to this amazing raw food place downtown. I forgot what it felt like to be with someone who actually cares about wellness and personal growth. Tammy's response. Ugh, finally. I was wondering when you dump that tech nerd. Aiden is so much hotter and successful. His gym is doing amazing. Another friend chimed in. What's your exit strategy? Please tell me you're not just going to ghost him. I'm not cruel, Jenna replied. I'll let him down easy. But first, I need to make sure I'm set up financially. The lease is in both our names, and we have that joint account. Aiden's helping me figure out the logistics. The logistics. My wife was discussing the dissolution of our marriage like it was a business merger. I kept reading. The messages got worse. Miles is so clueless, she'd written just 3 days ago. He actually thinks I'm at a meditation retreat. Meanwhile, Aiden and I are planning a weekend in Duluth. I've never felt so free, Tammy. You deserve this. You've been playing housewife to that boring guy for 3 years. Time to upgrade. The best part is, he's paying for it all and doesn't even know it. Used our joint account to book the hotel. He'll probably just think it's another yoga workshop expense. I sat back, feeling something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't just about falling out of love or growing apart. This was calculated humiliation. They were laughing at me, using my own money to fund their joke. My phone rang. Jay from work. Hey man, you okay? You seemed pretty distracted at the conference yesterday. Just some personal stuff, I said. Actually, can I ask you a favor? Remember that social engineering project we worked on last month? The one where we tested how easy it is to manipulate public opinion through targeted information release? Yeah, the corporate reputation management thing. Why? I might need to run a little experiment. Purely educational, of course. Jay was quiet for a moment. This wouldn't have anything to do with that Instagram photo I sent you, would it? Maybe. What do you need? I'd known Jay for 5 years. He was the kind of guy who understood that sometimes the system needed a little creative adjustment. More importantly, he was almost as good with computers as I was, and he had a talent for social media manipulation that bordered on artistic. Meet me for lunch, I said, and bring your laptop. We met at a coffee shop in northeast Minneapolis, far enough from downtown that we wouldn't run into anyone from work. Jay listened while I laid out the whole situation, the secret relationship, the financial manipulation, the group chat messages planning my humiliation. Damn, he said when I finished. That's ice cold. So what's the plan? I pulled out a notebook where I'd been sketching ideas all morning. Phase 1. Information gathering. I need to know everything about Aiden Morrison, his business, his reputation, his vulnerabilities. Already on it, Jay said, typing rapidly. Morrison Fitness Solutions, LLC, incorporated 2 years ago. Looks like he's got some interesting Yelp reviews. Several complaints about inappropriate behavior with female clients. What kind of inappropriate behavior? Overly personal training sessions, unwanted touching during yoga classes, asking clients out on dates. Nothing that resulted in formal complaints, but there's a pattern. Perfect. Aiden wasn't just stealing my wife. He was a serial creep with a documented history. Phase 2, I continued. Reputation management. If Aiden likes to play with other people's relationships, let's see how he handles some public scrutiny. Jay grinned. I like where this is going. What about Jenna? Jenna gets the full treatment. She wants independence. She's about to learn what it really means to be on her own. We spent the next 2 hours building what Jay called the network, a collection of anonymous social media accounts, fake review profiles, and carefully crafted personas designed to look like concerned community members. Nothing illegal, nothing that could be traced back to us, but powerful enough to shift public opinion. The beauty of social media, Jay explained as he created our 5th fake Facebook profile, is that people want to believe the worst about each other. You just have to give them permission. By the time we left the coffee shop, Aiden Morrison's online reputation was about to become significantly more complicated. That evening, I drove to Morrison Fitness Solutions. It was in a converted warehouse in the Arts District, all exposed brick and industrial lighting. Through the windows, I could see Aiden leading a CrossFit class, barking motivational slogans at a group of sweaty 20-somethings. I parked across the street and watched. He was good at what he did, I had to admit. Charismatic, energetic, the kind of guy who made people believe they could transform their lives in 6 weeks or less. No wonder Jenna was attracted to him. Compared to my quiet, analytical approach to life, Aiden was like a human energy drink. Around 8 o'clock, the class ended and people started filtering out. Aiden stayed behind, cleaning equipment and chatting with a few lingering clients. That's when I saw her. Jenna walked in through the back entrance like she owned the place. She was wearing new workout clothes I'd never seen before, expensive-looking yoga pants and a sports bra that probably cost more than my monthly gym membership. She walked straight to Aiden, who wrapped her in a hug that lasted just a little too long to be casual. I watched them through the window, feeling like a private investigator in some noir film. They were completely comfortable with each other, moving around the space with the easy familiarity of people who'd been doing this for a while. Jenna helped him stack weights while Aiden locked up the equipment. They looked like a couple. They looked happy. That's when I realized something that surprised me. I wasn't heartbroken. I was furious. Not because I was losing Jenna. Our marriage had been fading for months, maybe years. I was furious because of how they were doing it. The lies, the manipulation, the careful orchestration of my humiliation. They thought I was too boring, too passive, too predictable to fight back. They were about to learn how wrong they were. I drove home and spent the rest of the evening implementing phase 1 of what I'd started calling Operation Reality Check. Using the fake accounts Jay and I had created, I began seeding negative reviews and comments across every platform where Morrison Fitness Solutions had a presence. Nothing libelous, nothing that could get me in legal trouble. Just honest-sounding accounts from former clients who'd had uncomfortable experiences with the owner's unprofessional behavior. Aiden Morrison made me very uncomfortable during personal training sessions, wrote Sarah M. on Yelp. Inappropriate comments about my body and unwanted physical contact. Would not recommend to other women. Unprofessional and creepy, added Jennifer K. on Google reviews. Asked me out repeatedly, despite my saying no, made the gym environment very uncomfortable. By midnight, Aiden's 5-star rating had dropped to 3.5 stars, and the reviews were starting to get attention from real users who began sharing their own similar experiences. Phase 2 would begin tomorrow. I was just getting started. The next morning brought the first sign that my plan was working. Aiden had posted a defensive message on the gym's Facebook page addressing what he called fake reviews from competitors trying to damage our reputation. The post had dozens of comments, and not all of them were supportive. I always wondered about this guy, wrote one real user. Seemed a little too friendly during my consultation. My friend had a weird experience there too, added another. She never went back after the first session. The beautiful thing about social media is that once doubt creeps in, it spreads like wildfire. People started sharing stories, comparing experiences, connecting dots they'd never bothered to connect before. I was reading through the comments over my morning coffee when my phone rang. Jenna. Miles, we need to talk. Sure, I said. How was your meditation retreat? There was a pause. It was enlightening. Look, can you meet me for lunch today? There are some things we need to discuss. About our pause? Another pause. Among other things. We agreed to meet at a neutral restaurant downtown, the kind of place where Jenna could make a scene if she wanted to, but public enough that she'd probably restrain herself. I spent the morning at work, but my mind was elsewhere. Jay stopped by my cubicle around 11. Dude, have you seen Morrison's social media today? It's a dumpster fire. Really? I tried to sound surprised. Yeah, and it gets better. I did some more digging into his business records. Turns out he's been operating without proper insurance for the past 6 months. One injury lawsuit, and he's done. Interesting. Also, I may have anonymously tipped off the city health department about some potential safety violations. Nothing major, just enough to trigger an inspection. Jay was thorough. I appreciated that about him. At noon, I walked to the restaurant where Jenna was waiting. She looked different, more polished, more confident. Her hair was styled in a way I'd never seen before, and she was wearing makeup even though she usually went natural during the day. She looked like she was dressed for a job interview, or maybe a breakup. "You look nice," I said, sitting down across from her. "Thanks." She fidgeted with her water glass. "Miles, I know this is probably confusing for you. The pause? Not really. People need space sometimes." She blinked, clearly thrown off by my calm response. "Right. Well, the thing is, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I've realized that we've grown in different directions." "Have we?" "Yes. I'm discovering things about myself, exploring new interests, meeting new people who challenge me to be better." "Like Aiden?" The color drained from her face. "How did you—" "Instagram is pretty public, Jenna. Also, he left his gym bag under our bed." She stared at me for a long moment, probably trying to figure out how much I knew. Finally, she straightened her shoulders and went into what I recognized as her defensive mode. "Okay, yes, I've been spending time with Aiden, but it's not what you think." "What do I think?" "That I'm having an affair. That I'm cheating on you." "Are you?" "It's complicated, Miles. Aiden and I have a connection that's about more than just physical attraction. He understands my spiritual journey in a way that you never have." I nodded thoughtfully. "Your spiritual journey. Is that what we're calling it?" "Don't be sarcastic. This is serious." "You're right. It is serious. Especially the part where you've been using our joint bank account to fund your spiritual journey with your fitness guru." Now she looked genuinely panicked. "Miles, I can explain. $1,500 to Morrison Fitness Solutions, $800 to Serenity Springs Wellness Retreat, which I'm guessing is where you and Aiden spent last weekend, $2,000 in cash withdrawals over the past month." "You've been spying on me?" "I've been monitoring our shared financial accounts, like married people do." Jenna sat back in her chair, her carefully rehearsed speech apparently forgotten. "Look, I was going to pay it all back, once I figured out the logistics of separating our finances." "The logistics? Right, like calling our landlord to terminate the lease without telling me." "How did you—" She stopped herself. "I was trying to make this easier for both of us. By making unilateral decisions about our shared life while I was out of town." "Miles, please. I know this looks bad, but I was trying to protect you. I didn't want to hurt you more than necessary." I leaned forward. "Protect me from what exactly?" "From the truth. That our marriage has been over for months. That we're both just going through the motions. That I've found someone who makes me happy in ways you never could." There it was. The truth, finally. Not dressed up in spiritual language or self-help jargon. Just the simple, brutal fact that she'd decided I wasn't good enough and had been planning her exit strategy for months. "I see," I said. "And Aiden makes you happy." "Yes, he does." "That's great, Jenna. I'm happy for you both." She looked confused again. "You are?" "Absolutely. Everyone deserves to be with someone who appreciates them." "So, you're okay with this? With us getting divorced?" "If that's what you want, then yes. I want you to be happy." She smiled for the first time since I'd sat down. "I'm so glad you understand. I was worried you'd make this difficult." "Why would I make it difficult? We're both adults." "Exactly. And this way we can stay friends. Maybe even double date sometime." The audacity was breathtaking. She wanted to divorce me, steal my money, and then have me socialize with her new boyfriend like some kind of happy polyamorous family. That sounds wonderful, I said. Just one question. Sure. Does Aiden know about the complaints? What complaints? The ones from his female clients, about inappropriate behavior during training sessions. Her smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. Check his Yelp reviews, or Google, or Facebook. Seems like quite a few women have had uncomfortable experiences with your spiritual guide. Jenna pulled out her phone and started typing rapidly. I watched her face change as she read through the reviews and comments that had been accumulating over the past 24 hours. These are fake, she said finally. Are they? They seem pretty detailed, and there are so many of them. Someone's trying to sabotage his business. Who would do that? She looked at me suspiciously. I don't know. A competitor, maybe. Maybe. Or maybe women are finally feeling comfortable speaking up about his behavior. Social media can be very empowering that way. Jenna stared at her phone for another minute, scrolling through the growing list of complaints and negative reviews. This is going to destroy him. Only if the allegations are true. They're not true. Aiden would never what? Never manipulate women? Never take advantage of his position of authority? Never lie to get what he wants? She looked up from her phone, her eyes narrowing. What are you implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying that sometimes people aren't who we think they are. Like you? What do you mean? This calm understanding act. It's not like you, Miles. You should be angry. You should be fighting for our marriage. Should I? You've made it pretty clear that our marriage is over. You've been planning this for months, using our money to finance your new relationship, making decisions about our life without consulting me. What exactly should I be fighting for? She didn't have an answer for that. Besides, I continued, you said you wanted space to find yourself. I'm just giving you what you asked for. This isn't what I expected. What did you expect? I thought you'd be more upset. I am upset, Jenna. I'm upset that you lied to me for months. I'm upset that you stole our money. I'm upset that you thought I was too stupid to figure out what was going on. But mostly, I'm upset that you never gave me the chance to be the kind of husband you needed. That seemed to hit her harder than anything else I'd said. For a moment, she looked like the woman I'd married, vulnerable, uncertain, maybe even a little sorry. Then her phone buzzed with a text message, and the moment passed. I have to go, she said, standing up abruptly. Aiden needs me. Of course he does. She paused at the table, looking down at me. Miles, I hope you know that I never meant for it to happen this way. I know. And I hope we can still be friends. We'll see. She walked away, leaving me alone with the check and the wreckage of our marriage. But I wasn't thinking about endings. I was thinking about beginnings. Phase 3 was about to commence. That evening, I drove to Morrison Fitness Solutions again. This time, I wasn't just observing. I parked in the lot and walked inside like I belonged there. The gym was busy with the after-work crowd. Aiden was leading another CrossFit class, shouting encouragement over loud music. I stood near the entrance, watching him work. He was good at reading people, adjusting his approach based on what each person needed to hear. The shy woman in the corner got gentle encouragement. The competitive guy in the front row got aggressive challenges. The attractive blonde got personal attention and unnecessary physical adjustments. I watched him place his hands on her waist during a demonstration, lingering just a little too long. She looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything. Classic power dynamic. She was paying him for expertise, so she assumed his behavior was professional even when it clearly wasn't. After the class ended, I approached the front desk where a young woman was checking people out. Hi, I said. I'm thinking about joining. Could I get some information about personal training? Absolutely. She handed me a brochure. Aiden's our head trainer. He's amazing, really focused on holistic wellness and personal transformation. That sounds perfect. I've been going through some major life changes lately. Divorce, you know how it is. She nodded sympathetically. Aiden's great with that stuff. He's helped a lot of people work through relationship issues. Very intuitive. I bet he is. Does he work with a lot of women going through divorces? Oh yeah, tons. He has this whole philosophy about using fitness to reclaim your power after a breakup. Very empowering. I thanked her and left with the brochure, but more importantly, with confirmation of what I'd suspected. Aiden had a type. Vulnerable women in transition. Women like my wife. The next morning, I called in sick to work and spent the day implementing Phase 3. If Aiden wanted to play relationship counselor to married women, he was about to get some professional feedback. I started with the health department inspection that Jay had arranged. The inspector showed up at 10 a.m. and spent 3 hours going through the facility. I watched from across the street as Aiden followed the inspector around, gesturing frantically and clearly stressed. By noon, there was a notice posted on the front door. Temporary closure for health code violations. Facility will reopen when violations are corrected. Strike 1. While Aiden was dealing with the health inspector, I was busy with Strike 2. Using the fake social media accounts, I'd been organizing what looked like a grassroots campaign by concerned community members who were troubled by the allegations against Morrison Fitness Solutions. The campaign included a petition to the Better Business Bureau, complaints to the local fitness industry association, and most importantly, a coordinated effort to share the negative reviews across every platform where Aiden had a presence. By 2 p.m., the story had been picked up by a local blogger who specialized in consumer advocacy. Her post was titled, "Is this popular gym owner preying on vulnerable women?" And it included screenshots of the most damaging reviews, along with Aiden's defensive social media responses. The post went viral within hours. Strike 2. Strike 3 came that evening, when I finally made direct contact. I waited in the parking lot of Morrison Fitness Solutions until Aiden showed up to deal with the health department closure. He looked haggard, probably hadn't slept much after watching his business reputation implode in real time. I got out of my car and walked over to him. "Aiden, I'm Miles Thompson." He turned around, and I watched recognition dawn on his face. "Oh, Jenna's husband. Ex-husband, apparently, or soon-to-be, anyway." He straightened his shoulders, trying to project confidence despite the circumstances. "Look, man, I know this is awkward, but Jenna and I didn't plan for this to happen. Sometimes people just connect, you know? I'm sure you didn't plan it. These things just happen when you're providing spiritual guidance to married women, right? It's not like that." "What's it like?" "Jenna's been unhappy for a long time. She needed someone who understood her journey." "Her journey? Right." I looked at the health department notice taped to his door. "Speaking of journeys, how's yours going?" He followed my gaze and his jaw tightened. "This is temporary. Some competitor is trying to sabotage my business with fake reviews and frivolous complaints." "That's terrible. Any idea who might want to hurt you?" "Could be anyone. This industry is cutthroat. Or it could be that you've been inappropriate with female clients and someone finally decided to speak up." "Those allegations are bullshit." "All of them? Even the ones with specific details about things you said and did?" "Especially those ones." I nodded thoughtfully. "You know, I work in cybersecurity. Part of my job is analyzing patterns in data to identify threats. And the pattern I'm seeing suggests that you have a problem with boundaries." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you like to get involved with women who are vulnerable. Women going through divorces, relationship problems, life transitions. Women like my wife." Jenna came to me. "Did she? Or did you target her because you could see she was unhappy and you knew exactly what to say to make her feel special?" Aiden stepped closer to me, trying to use his size to intimidate. "You need to back off, man. Jenna's with me now. Deal with it." "I am dealing with it. The question is, are you?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means your business is closed, your reputation is destroyed, and it's only going to get worse. Unless, of course, you decide to make some changes." Are you threatening me? I'm giving you information. What you do with it is up to you. He stared at me for a long moment, probably trying to figure out if I was the kind of guy who would actually follow through on implied threats. The truth was, I didn't need to threaten him. The internet was doing all the work for me. Stay away from my gym, he said finally. Your gym is closed. Stay away from me and Jenna. Jenna's a grown woman. She can make her own choices, but you might want to ask yourself if she's going to stick around now that your business is falling apart and your reputation is ruined. I walked back to my car, leaving him standing in the parking lot next to his closed gym. In my rearview mirror, I watched him pull out his phone, probably calling Jenna to tell her about our conversation. That was fine. I wanted her to know that her boring, predictable husband wasn't quite as passive as she'd thought. When I got home, I found 3 voicemails from Jenna, each one more frantic than the last. Miles, what did you do? Aiden's business is being destroyed by fake reviews and you just happen to show up to gloat? This isn't like you. Miles, pick up your phone. We need to talk about this. What you're doing isn't fair. Aiden doesn't deserve this. Miles, I know you're angry, but this has gone too far. You're hurting innocent people. Please call me back. Innocent people. That was rich. I didn't call her back. Instead, I opened my laptop and began planning phase 4, the final phase, the one that would teach both of them what it really meant to be on pause. 3 days later, Jenna showed up at my apartment unannounced. I was working from home, taking advantage of the flexible schedule to monitor the ongoing destruction of Aiden's business empire. The health department had found enough violations to keep the gym closed for at least 2 weeks. The Better Business Bureau had opened an investigation, and the local Fitness Industry Association had suspended his membership pending a review of the allegations. But the real damage was social. In the age of social media, reputation is everything, and Aiden's reputation was now permanently linked to words like inappropriate, unprofessional, and predatory. Even if he managed to reopen the gym, he'd never recover the trust he'd lost. The doorbell rang at 2 p.m. Through the peephole, I could see Jenna pacing in the hallway, clutching her phone like a lifeline. I opened the door. Hey, we need to talk. She pushed past me into the apartment, then stopped short. You redecorated. I'd spent the past few days reclaiming the space. My coffee mug collection was back on the kitchen counter. My magazines were stacked by the couch. The throw blanket she hated was draped over my reading chair. I'd also added some new touches, better lighting, some artwork, a sound system. The place looked like someone actually lived there, instead of just existing in neutral beige limbo. I had some time on my hands, I said. Miles, you have to stop this. Stop what? You know what. The reviews, the complaints, the health department inspection. You're destroying Aiden's life. I'm not doing anything to Aiden. His customers are sharing their experiences, the health department is enforcing safety regulations, and the market is responding accordingly. Bullshit. This is you. I know it's you. I sat down in my reading chair and gestured for her to take the couch. She remained standing, too agitated to sit. Why would I want to destroy Aiden's business? I asked. Because you're angry about us being together. Am I? Yes. You're jealous, and you're trying to punish us for falling in love. Jenna, I've told you already. I want you to be happy. If Aiden makes you happy, then I support your relationship. Then why is his life falling apart? Maybe because he's not the person you think he is. She started pacing again. Those reviews are fake. I know they are. How do you know? Because I know Aiden. He would never do the things those women are claiming. What things specifically? Inappropriate touching, asking clients out, making sexual comments. It's not who he is. Isn't it? He asked out a married woman. He had an affair with a client's wife. He used his position of authority to manipulate someone who was vulnerable. That's different. What we have is real. How do you know the others weren't real too? How do you know you're not just the latest in a long line of married women he's helped through their relationship problems? She stopped pacing and stared at me. You're trying to make me doubt him. I'm trying to make you think. When you met Aiden, were you the only married woman in his classes? No, but... Were you the only one he gave special attention to? Miles, stop. Were you the only one he offered private sessions to? The only one he invited for coffee to discuss your spiritual journey? That's enough. Did he tell you that you deserved better? That your husband didn't understand you? That you were special and beautiful and wasting your life on someone who didn't appreciate you? Stop it. Because if he did, Jenna, then you weren't special. You were just another target. She slapped me. Hard. The sound echoed in the quiet apartment. I touched my cheek where her hand had connected. Feel better? You bastard. You're trying to destroy the best thing that's ever happened to me because you can't stand that I chose someone else. The best thing that's ever happened to you is a guy who targets vulnerable married women and uses your joint bank account to fund his lifestyle? He's not using me, isn't he? His business is closed, his reputation is ruined, and he's probably broke. Where do you think he's getting money to live on right now? Her face went pale. You don't know what you're talking about. Check your bank account, Jenna. What? Your personal account, the one you opened last month when you started planning your exit strategy. Check the balance. She fumbled with her phone, probably accessing her banking app. I watched her face change as she saw the numbers. How did you... I didn't do anything. But I bet if you look at the transaction history, you'll find some interesting charges. Aiden's rent, maybe. His car payment. Groceries. Gas. All the expenses of a man whose business just collapsed. She stared at her phone screen, scrolling through transactions. He said he needed help with cash flow. Just temporarily, until he could reopen the gym. And you believed him. He's going through a hard time. Someone is sabotaging his business. Someone is holding him accountable for his behavior. There's a difference. Jenna sank onto the couch, still clutching her phone. This isn't how it was supposed to happen. How was it supposed to happen? We were going to be together, build a life together. He was going to help me become the person I was meant to be. And who were you meant to be? Someone strong, independent. Someone who doesn't settle for a boring, predictable life with a boring, predictable man. I see. And how's that working out? She looked around the apartment, at the improvements I'd made, at the life I was building without her. You seem to be doing fine. I am doing fine. You're not even fighting for us. Should I be? You made it pretty clear that our marriage was over. You've been planning your exit for months. You stole our money, terminated our lease, and publicly humiliated me with your affair. What exactly should I be fighting for? For me, for us, for what we had. What did we have, Jenna? She was quiet for a long moment. I don't know anymore. We had a marriage where you felt unappreciated, and I felt taken for granted. We had a relationship where neither of us was happy, but neither of us wanted to admit it. We had 3 years of going through the motions because it was easier than dealing with the truth. The truth? That we were wrong for each other from the beginning. We just didn't want to face it. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. So you're glad this happened? I'm glad we finally stopped pretending. And you're glad I'm suffering now that Aiden's business is ruined? I'm not glad you're suffering, but I'm not sorry that you're learning who he really is. He's not a bad person, Miles. He's just lost right now. He's a predator who targets vulnerable women. The only difference between him and the guys who get arrested for this stuff is that he's better at making it look consensual. That's not true. Prove it. What? Prove that you're different from all the other married women he's seduced. Prove that what you have is real and not just another manipulation. How? Stay with him. Support him while he rebuilds his business and his reputation. Stand by him when things get tough instead of running back to the safety of your boring, predictable ex-husband. She stared at me. Is that what you think I'm doing? Running back to you? Aren't you? I came here to ask you to stop destroying his life. His life isn't destroyed. His business is temporarily closed and his reputation is damaged. If what you have is real, you'll get through this together and come out stronger. And if it's not real, then you'll learn an expensive lesson about the difference between love and manipulation. Jenna stood up, smoothing down her clothes. I should go. Probably. Miles? Yeah? I'm sorry. For all of it. For the lying, the stealing, the way I handled everything. You didn't deserve that. No, I didn't. But I'm not sorry for leaving. We weren't right for each other. I know. And despite everything, I hope you find someone who makes you happy. I will. She walked to the door, then turned back one more time. For what it's worth, you're not as boring as I thought you were. Thanks. This whole thing, the reviews, the investigation, the way you've handled everything, it's pretty impressive. Scary, but impressive. I'm full of surprises. Apparently. After she left, I sat in my reading chair and looked around the apartment. It was quiet, but not empty. Peaceful, but not boring. It was mine again, in a way it hadn't been for months. My phone buzzed with a text from Jay. Saw the news about Morrison's gym. Health department is recommending permanent closure. Dude's finished. I typed back. Good. What about Jenna? What about her? You think she'll stick with him? I thought about that for a moment. Jenna was a lot of things. Selfish, impulsive, prone to bad decisions. But she wasn't stupid. She'd figure out eventually that Aiden had been using her the same way he'd used all the others. The question was whether she'd admit it to herself or double down on the fantasy. Either way, it wasn't my problem anymore. Doesn't matter, I texted back. Not my circus, not my monkeys. So what's next for you? I looked around my reclaimed apartment, thought about the life I was building without the weight of a failing marriage dragging me down. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt genuinely optimistic about the future. Everything, I typed. 3 months later, I ran into Tammy at a coffee shop downtown. She was with a friend I didn't recognize, and they were deep in conversation about someone's relationship drama. I was tempted to keep walking, but she spotted me before I could escape. Miles! Oh my God, how are you? I'm good, Tammy. How are you? I'm great. Listen, I'm so sorry about everything that happened with you and Jenna. That whole situation was just crazy. It worked out for the best. Did you hear about Aiden? I hadn't been keeping tabs, but I was curious. What about him? He moved back to California. Apparently, his gym never reopened, and he couldn't find work anywhere in the Twin Cities. Something about his reputation being ruined by fake reviews. That's unfortunate. And Jenna, well, I probably shouldn't say anything. It's fine, Tammy. We're divorced. I don't need updates on her life. She's back with her parents in Wisconsin. The whole thing with Aiden fell apart pretty quickly once his business closed. Turns out he was using her for money and a place to stay. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Because honestly, after everything she put you through, I wouldn't blame you for being a little satisfied. I thought about that. Was I satisfied? Vindicated? Relieved? I'm glad she learned the truth about him before she wasted more time and money, I said finally. And I'm glad we're both free to find people who are actually right for us. Tammy smiled. That's very mature of you. Are you seeing anyone? I am, actually. That's wonderful. Anyone I know? I don't think so. Her name's Sarah. She's a librarian. A librarian? That sounds perfect for you. It was perfect for me. Sarah was intelligent, funny, and refreshingly honest. She liked quiet evenings and good books. She thought my job was interesting instead of boring. She'd never once suggested I needed to find myself or grow as a person. She liked me exactly as I was, which was a revelation after 3 years of being treated like a rough draft of a better man. "We're very happy," I said. "I'm so glad. You deserve it." After Tammy left, I sat in the coffee shop thinking about the past year. The divorce had been finalized 6 months ago. Jenna had kept her car and her personal belongings. I'd kept the apartment, the furniture, and what was left of our savings after she'd spent so much of it on her spiritual journey. I'd also kept something else, the knowledge that I was stronger than I'd thought, more resourceful, more capable of protecting myself when necessary. Jenna had wanted to put our marriage on pause, thinking she could come back to it if her adventure didn't work out. What she'd learned instead was that some things, once paused, can't be restarted. Some pauses are permanent, and sometimes that's exactly what everyone needs. I finished my coffee and walked home to my apartment, where Sarah was waiting with takeout from our favorite Thai restaurant and a new mystery novel she thought I'd enjoy. We'd eat dinner, read together on the couch, and talk about our days without any hidden agendas or unspoken resentments. It was a boring, predictable evening. It was perfect.